some sort of message just popped up. Like, she has her parents and everything like that, but he's maybe more of a kind of a fill-in dad at the moment, or a fill-in father figure to help Clementine out throughout the course of the game. And the choices you make affect her in different ways. Like, maybe not her getting food, or doing something that she might not like, and not trusting you anymore for what you just did. So it's pretty intense. I do have to admit, it's not like your typical game. It's not what you might expect. It is kind of tricky, so when you do get started playing on it, it's gonna feel a little bit weird. And even after playing it for quite a while, doing both episode 1 and episode 2, it's still the things in the game are still kind of tricky and a little bit hard to figure out. Well, not hard. I mean, you can definitely figure it out what you need to do. So the game kind of helps you along the way, just to kind of to keep you going in the storyline. So don't be afraid to get the game because the controls may be really messed up, or what if somebody else may have said. I strongly suggest getting the game if you've got the cash. I suggest getting it during the Steam sale because it won't just be one game. It is just like one game, but oh frick, this zombie. It's gonna have 5 episodes. They're on 2 out of 5 right now. So if you got the game, like this moment that I know of, you'll be getting 2 episodes straight off the bat. And I think I played them for a couple hours each. I'm not sure for how long. I really don't want to have to shoot my gun right next to the airfield. There's zombies here. There's probably people up in here. I don't know if I'm awake enough to try and take these guys on. I really hope later down the line that they continue to make these kinds of stories. Now, I'm not sure if, you know, through the interactions that Lee has, or other party groups out there as well, who meet maybe other parties of Rick's group. And in order to get them to where they are, they require your help in order to continue their journey to get where they are. So basically, where the game starts is the zombie apocalypse has just began, and they're not sure what's going on, and things are about to go kablooey for society in general. So they tried to escape town and whatnot, and they managed to do that pretty well, I think. But I think during the open period there is between interaction with Lee and that group, and possibly with Rick's group. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen, really. Like, that their group might help support theirs in their journeys of getting to their final destination, of meeting up with their initial full group and everything like that. So I'm not quite sure. I probably should be reading more of the DayZ books itself. I've read a couple of the comic books already. I haven't gotten too terribly far. I think I just got to the part where Rick is making his way out of town, just like in the Walking Dead. I think this time he has a horse, and he doesn't have a car, I think. Or he does have a... It's different. How he leaves and gets out of there, or goes to Atlanta, are two different things, I think. And I think he ends up driving to town on driving to town in his car in the book, as opposed to him riding in a horse to town on a horse. It probably made no sense whatsoever, but it happened. It's a true story. No, I'm just kidding. We're almost. My calculations are correct, which I really honestly don't know where I am. I think I went too far. So this is the far side of the airfield. The longer I'm here, the bigger trouble I'm going to end up getting into. This is the far top north. Let me show you on the map really quick. So this is about just where I am right now. I'm at this little corner, and I wanted to get here, so I must have overshot it by quite a lot. So by doing that, that may have saved my life. There could be somebody inside there already. So I've been kind of trying to pay attention to the chat along the way as well. And it seems like a lot of people are dying. And honestly do not want to be on that list of somebody's murder count. I have a lot of good stuff on me that I'd like to keep. I would like it to make it to day 15, if anything. Sometimes you can find crashed helicopters up here and around. I'll show you another spot that's nearby. Roger, Dingle Bravo, ACT, coming in for landing. Yeehaw! That's what I imagine them saying before they crash. This is a very busy airport. Imagine on the scope of this map itself, that this airport here would be a lot of traffic, a military transport, you know, like a military air base here. And I have found a lot of crashed helicopters down on this side of the airfield and over on the other side of this wall. Just trying to take my time. What's that? That's nothing. I hope it wasn't. So I found one here on the runway once before. Right there. And I believe, my memory serves me correctly, there's no guarantee that I'll find one here. He did say that he has found multiple helicopters like chained together, like 2 on 2, 1 on 1. Is that somebody right there? Or a zombie? I saw a white shirt through that. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. Actually, I just came up with an idea that I'm going to need to write down and see what I can do with it. Definitely, if I get more information about it or find more information about it, I'll definitely go to making a video about it. Hold on, let me find a safe spot where I can write this down really quick. Sure, it'd probably be pretty easy to find out, but if not. Got it. Okay, here we go. So this is another area where you can find crashed helicopters. Oops, my cord there. In this general area, right around in here, from the top of the airfields, you can usually find. Depends on the server. Each server is not going to have helicopters in all the same exact places. They're all spammed. No, they're all spawned differently on all servers. There's going to be definitely overlap on the servers when it comes to where these crashed helicopters are going to be spawning in at. So if you are camping a spot on one server and you switch and go to another one, there's never going to be a possibility that when you spawn in, another helicopter will be right there. I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying that the way that each map is set up and how many servers there are on DayZ and how many they're probably going to continue to grow the way that it is, especially with the Steam sale going on. The Arma 2 combined operations to I haven't even seen it drop past, at least myself, I haven't seen it go past the max number of things. Like of course it'll drop when really huge popular games come out for sale, but then it will instantly go back up. It's always been up. It's been within the top 5 at least this whole entire time, depending on what's for sale. And it's just insane. So imagine how many more people that are going to be playing this game, and the servers and whatnot. So it's going to be making it a little bit more difficult to find gear, and find crash helicopters, because there's going to be a magnitude of more people wanting that same gear. But these are just 50 slot servers, so it's going to be you against other people. Depending if you join a low population server, you may be the first one who stumbles across it, and you don't know how long the server has been up either. So you gotta take in a lot of different things when you are on here looking for a crashed chopper, because the chopper could be there and you could find the chopper, but the loot could be gone. Some servers will reset every 8 hours due to lag, and when it resets and refreshes, there will be new helicopters and new gear with those helicopters. So don't get discouraged. If you haven't found a helicopter yet, or you're wanting to try and find one, you'll have a chance to find one, but it might not be, the hope that you're looking for is going to find some really good gear, especially with people who are now, instead of camping the Northwest Airfield or Electro or Chernogorsk. I'm sure they probably still do that, but not as much as they're going to be camping crashed helicopter sites, because they know it's going to bring in people. It's a guaranteed to have people out looking for these things, and it's a lot more safer down south in those kind of more areas. I'll show you the hot spots. So these were generally the biggest hot spots were right here to get killed. Actually, in this one here. So I'm going to include Balata Airfield in this. Balata Airfield, Cherno, and Electro. Those are the 3 biggest hot spots down here along the coast. And then as you go further up, Stary Sobor, not as bad. People around here used to be friendly, but not as much. They see you, they're going to shoot you on sight. But there are guns here. This is where the military grade weapons are, and there's a grocery store right here. So there's 2 reasons for people to come here: guns and food and liquor. Get crazy and shoot them all up, and they have to go get more ammo. And definitely the Northwest Airfield, because the 2 barracks here have the very most rare guns in the game inside them. So we're going to find a lot of the rare stuff: night vision goggles, rangefinders, the saw, the Barrett 50 cal, those kinds of weapons are going to be inside those bunkers, and that's the only place on the map that you can find them. So this area here is going to be huge. But now with those choppers having the potential of spawning those kinds of weapons, they could be anywhere on the map. But there's still going to be people who are going to try and camp those positions just like they were trying to camp this. Not because of the loot, per se, but more about, I think, what they want to do is they're going to kill people and take their gear who are coming to try and find the crashed helicopter to try to get their chance at trying to find some really good gear. So just keep that in mind when you are heading towards a crashed helicopter site, that it may have already been picked. There could be somebody there camping trying to kill you, and the length of the server that's been up. If it's a fresh restart, you might have a chance to get it right away if you find one. And you also have to tend with the zombies that are all around the crashed aircraft as well, the crashed heli. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and make my way back towards the airfield. Pretty sure I'm heading the right direction. I'm gonna go inside the barracks. So whenever I try to go there to find like a really good weapon, I will never find anything in there. And then the other day, when I was like, well, I'm just gonna show you guys where it is. This small little group that I've been helping out with, kind of trying to teach them the very basics of the game. With more people joining, kind of the higher ups who've played more are kind of trying to teach everyone who are new where to find loot, things like that. It's a lot easier now than it was when we were playing, because there's a lot of maps out there that it gives off a lot more information about where you can go find food and whatnot, and where the best places are to go. We didn't know anything like that back then. All we knew was go to the Northwest Airfield because that's where the best stuff was, and that's not nearly quite as true as we thought. But as time goes on, we're going to learn more about, you know, the game, where to find things, how to learn as a group and as a team, hopefully. I think one of the biggest things, it's not the game itself. It's easy to kill a zombie. All you gotta do is point the gun at it, shoot, and it'll die, depending on what kind of gun you're using. But I think the biggest thing is number one, where to find the guns. Number two, how to survive by finding food and water. Number three, staying away from other people who can kill you. Probably the biggest things in the game that you need to look out for. Because the people on here, the ones on here are a lot more dangerous than a zombie. You can get, if you're very patient, you can get around zombies and sneak by them, no problem. You might startle a couple of them, and that's it. But with a human, if they see you, if they're a bandit, they're definitely going to try and kill you. Because they want your stuff, or they just want to kill you to kill you. So, you gotta keep that in mind when you're moving around out here, of using concealment. What kind of concealment can I use to try and protect myself when I'm attempting to get into an area, or trying to sneak up to some sort of a spot where I can try and take a shot at? I'm going to try and show you an example of that as we try and figure out where the heck this airfield is. Pretty sure it's right down there. So one of the better firing positions is going to be this hill. But I've seen quite a few people already over here who like to camp this hill. There's different options that you have when you come up to an area that you're going to try and snipe or fire a gun. Number one, if you go out in the very front, there's a bush by itself in front of all the other bushes. It's probably going to be the first place that someone's going to look, is how, you know, if they're out in the open, or, you know, possibly in a bush. Okay, so we're going to bring you up here. Let me give you kind of an example. If I can get a clear area. So right next to the airfield, I believe. This is one of the open areas near the airfield. There's places along here that you can find that you can cover an area without having to expose your location. Like you could, this is perfect right over here.